Okay, what do you want your story to be about tonight?
About um, a rocket that wanted to play.
A rocket that wanted to play. Oh, hmm, hmm. This is the story of 711777. That was the name of a special rocket. Someone, billions or perhaps trillions of years ago, had said had sent 711777 on a journey through the universe, along with perhaps many others like him. The journey was to travel the galaxy and the stars, the dust and the cosmos, until a suitable planet would be found that had the right conditions for life. And then 711777 would have a chance to seed that planet with the first bits of life. However, 711777 had not been lucky at all. It had been peacefully and quietly roaming the stars for billions of years, a time so ancestral that even light itself was but a distant memory. When something, sometime in his journey, made him feel a little bit tingly, it was the subtle light of a star, distant but enough, but not distant enough for its heat to be forgotten. And so it was that 711777 started feeling the star's warmth and started thinking whether it would be a good idea to rest its precious cargo in this system. It's been billions of years of travel, and 711777 hadn't seen any other star in all of this time. And so it was that as soon as he started feeling warm enough due to the heat of the star, something changed. 711777 became conscious and aware of what it was doing. A tiny little bit of magnetic force from the sun barely nudged 711777, and before you know it, it would be on a collision course with the third planet of that system. 711777 started getting closer and closer. It took perhaps weeks, perhaps days. Time started flowing ever more fast as 711777 was approaching its final destination. And as soon as the time was perfect, all the vibrations aligned and 711777 crashed into the third planet of the solar system, releasing a huge cloud of dust that was covered with all sorts of living bacteria and other bits of matter that was conscious. And when that cloud fell everywhere in that planet, in some places it found water. And it started drinking of that water. And it started developing. And it started eating some of the minerals. And it started accepting more of that light. And then it discovered that it could change and it could reproduce. And it started doing so until there was billions and billions of them. And time, things kept growing and changing. And over millions and millions of years, that planet grew to be what you now know as Earth. And here we are, me telling you a story on this third rock from the sun, in a time That's just part of an absolute infinite number of times. The end.
But you didn't, as you didn't you didn't tell me what I said you to tell me about the story.
What did
The
you?
story was about a rocket that wanted to play.
711777 was a rocket for a foreign planet, and his greatest mission in life was to play creating life. That's what this rocket had been created for. It had been created to seed life in other planets. That was its game. There's one thing that you have to see, which is different forms of the reality have different games. Some things that are games for you may not be a game for a dog, for example, chess. And some things that would be a game for an alien intelligence may not be a game to you. But for 711777, seeding life was not only the most amazing adventure and game ever, it was its purpose. And it is the most amazing adventure because 711777 turned into everything that we now know, into all the animals and all the plants and all the bacteria and all the mushrooms and all the insects and all the people. It turned into life. And that's the most amazing game of them all.
Okay.
Don't sound too convinced. Tell me another subject and I'll tell you a bonus story.
What?
Give me another subject and I'll give you a bonus story.
Okay. About 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 a water bottle.
Okay. Hmm. 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 This was a story about a bottle. A very, very lucky bottle. Bottle that once had contained a precious liquid. It was simply water. But it was precious because the person that drank that water needed it so much and it made him so happy. So the bottle was happy. She had fulfilled her mission in life, which was to give water. But before she knew it, she was in a different adventure. And she had been tossed in something like a garbage can with a bunch of other things. Quite interesting, I might add. The smells were not so pleasant, perhaps. And she thought, well, if that's all that there is to life, then I'm happy because now I've seen two things in life. When suddenly she realized everything was shaking and she was being moved by a big storm with tons of water. Apparently, a hurricane or something had come through the area, and the trash can got knocked over and blown out into the ocean. And suddenly, this bottle felt a completely different sensation, which was to be completely submerged in water, but floating on the top because it was closed. Um, and so she thought to herself, wow, what an adventure I lived. I just thought that it came to this planet to give someone water, and then I ended up in a trash can, and then a storm, and now in the ocean floating. If this is all there is to life, I am happy as it is. But it wasn't, because this bottle floated and floated and floated for more than a year. And then one day, it landed on a beach shore of a country with people that were very, very poor and didn't have many bottles. And so anything like this was a treasure to be used. And so a kid took that bottle and made it its own bottle. And with that, he could carry water everywhere. So he was happy. And the bottle was amazed. Suddenly, he had a friend kid that would take him everywhere. He got to see the village. He got to see lots of people. He got to see traditions of these people. This was a tribe in Africa. But the bottle didn't know that. And he was amazed. And the bottle thought, well, if this is all there is to life, I couldn't be happier. But there was more. For then the kid grew up and one day decided to travel. And so the bottle was donated to the tribe. And the tribe put animal oils on it and made it into a candle. And so the bottle became part of spiritual rituals where people would have visions after eating certain mushrooms, and the bottle would light up their visions, and their candle would become monsters, and it would become angels, and it would become wishes come true and knowledge, and it would become so much for these people. And the bottle thought, wow, this is the most incredible thing I've ever seen. And to think that I thought I came to this world only to give somebody water and quench its thirst. But I've seen so much. I've seen the difficulty of a trash can. I've seen the fierce, full force of a storm that's scary. I've seen the oceans and vast and lonely. I've seen friends with my new friend from Africa. I've seen now the spirit of man. If this is all there is, then so be it. I want to die in peace. And one day, the bottle, the heat of the candle got so low in a cold day. And so the difference in temperature between the hot part where the candle was touching the glass and the cold part on the bottom made the bottle snap. And it broke. And it released its spirit. And it saw from above that even the shards of glass were now being collected and being used as knives in hunting things, and so that nothing had been lost, and that his body would still be part of that people. And so the bottle became the light, and that was the end of his journey in this dimension. The end.
I love that story.
Yes.
Papi,
Yes?
when the bottle was like, whoa. I felt like that too today because I thought you can never, there's no way to turn into a bird or anything at the game sky, like a butterfly or a bird or anything.
Right. But you did it.
Yeah.
That was amazing.
Yeah. And guess what?
What?
I turned into everything except the monsters.
Because you're no monster. You're a being of light.
No, it was the game sky.
Yes, I know. But your reality dictates a lot of that. You in your heart, you're a being of light. That's why you don't get to see monsters like that. Because monsters don't like beings of light. Because they know that beings of light always laugh at the sad parts of the movie. And so they can't make you sad. They can't hurt you. They can't get close to you. They get too happy. They stop being monsters. And they don't like stopping being monsters, so they don't want to be near you, because if they get near you, they become funny things and then they start laughing too. They fart and do weird things.
No, that doesn't happen. That doesn't even happen at the game sky.
No, that happens in real life, in your dreams, and in your emotions, and in your relationship with other people. When you're being of light, the people that you attract usually will build that light with you instead of taking it from you. What?
Well, when I was playing the game Sky and when I went to that dangerous place and I got caught and I almost died, well, that wasn't me. It was my character that was dying. So the only way that would save me was going home. That was the only thing that would save me.
I saw that. Yes.
And I went home, and I was still at level 7, which is very, very lucky.
Yes.
Extremely lucky.
Okay.
And I'm so happy that I got to turn into everything the game Sky.
That was a really cool thing.
Yeah.
But tomorrow we need to study and do other things, okay, Bebe? Because today you spent a lot of time with that game.
Yeah, almost the whole day.
Yes, so it was fun, but we can't do that every day.
Okay.
Good night, pequeñín.